When we think about what we've inherited from our parents, we often think about our eyes, hair, sense of humor, or taste in music. But the point is, we don't often think of our education. If you think about it, the quality and extent of your education more than likely looks a lot like your parents', which means that educational inequality persists from generation to generation. There's lots of reasons for that, and lots of complicated solutions have been proposed. But Chicago Booth's Rebecca Dizon-Ross focused on one solution that hadn't previously received much attention, and it's something we could actually fix.
Less educated parents, because they don't understand their kids' own academic ability, don't make good investments in their kids' education. They make some mistakes. And if you simply provide them with the information about how well their kids are doing, then they can make better decisions, and they make decisions that look more like the decisions of richer parents.
Dizon-Ross based her research in Malawi, a relatively small country wedged in between Zambia, Mozambique, and Tanzania. Less than half of Malawian children who start secondary school complete it, but kids from the richest households are more than twice as likely to finish as those from the poorest. Needless to say, not all children are the same. Some learn best by reading a textbook. Others need a lecture. Some need extra tutoring. If parents don't know what their kids need, it's easy to make the wrong decision and negatively affect their children's success in the process.
So I was interested whether this one component, parents' inaccurate beliefs, also contributed to these gaps. And sort of the nice thing about looking at parents' inaccurate beliefs is it's a lot easier to solve than something like credit constraints or school quality or the inheritance of IQ. You know, inaccurate beliefs, we can provide information. It costs some money, but you can do it.
The research showed that many parents had inaccurate beliefs about their children's academic abilities. But while this was true across the board, it was especially acute for parents who were poor and had less education.
It's just hard to assess your kid's ability if you don't have much education. So if you're like a mother and you've been to second grade and you don't know how to multiply, and then you're trying to figure out like what your kid needs and whether they have potential to go on, it's just going to be really hard to do that. And so parents, I think, do not have a good sense, and my research shows that parents in this environment do not have a good sense of their kids' academic ability, both like the level of it, which subjects they're doing better, which of their own kids are doing better in school, all of these different types of things they don't have a good sense of.
So what happens when you give parents accurate information?
The headline finding is that providing parents with information about their kids' academic abilities has a big impact on the way they allocate their investment decisions. This is a big impact both on the level of investments across kids as well as the types of investments they choose for given kids.
The research also shows that in response to the information, poorer parents make bigger adjustments than richer parents, and that means that this could help reduce education inequality. But would this work in a country that's very different from Malawi? Dizon-Ross believes it could.
So, for example, I got some beliefs data from the US, where I have data on parents' beliefs about their kids' academic ability, and that data also shows that parents, on average, are inaccurate, but the inaccuracies are quite a bit worse for less educated parents. So just like what I see in the developing country context. And so then in terms of what are the implications, the exact decisions that this affects in developing and developed countries might be different, but it still applies in developed countries.
Lots of parents, especially uneducated parents, are intimidated by talking to their kids' teachers. But we need to figure out how to fill the information gap. Better informing parents about their kids' performance could be one of the least costly and most effective ways to reduce education inequality.